Okay, next question is, let's just start very broadly. What is balance?
Okay, so balance is a tough concept because I think we need to take into consideration three things. The first one's balance, the second one is stress, and the third one is your body's your body's capability of adapting to something. Okay, so what the fuck does that mean? I'm not telling you the fucking Latin names of it because it's too complicated and not needed. But we need all three of them. So that means what is actual balance? Um, Balance is never 50-50 because you're always unbalanced. Let's take a practical example. Um, and let's take push up and pull ups, for example. In the literature, you will read that the human being is a natural pusher, right? So we rather push things than pull things. That is 100% true and right. But we have to take into consideration how people are living their life nowadays and which muscles are not working. So that's where we start um, prioritizing massively the pull, bringing your shoulder blades in, using the lats to bring weight towards your chest, towards your spine, massively in training, right? Because all people are hunched over for whatever reason, which we're not going to go into right now. So we're doing like, if I have to put a number behind it, in training, maybe like 80-20. So 80% of pulling exercises, practicing pulling your shoulder blades together, engaging your lats, rather than the other stuff, which is bringing the shoulder blades to the outside and using primarily triceps and teres major, right? So this is what balance actually looks like. We're always thinking about like work-life balance, like 50-50, or we're thinking about push-pull 50-50. I think that's the furthest from the truth that it can ever be, right? Because you're already prone to one side of the equation massively, right? So if you're sitting hunched back, hunched over all the time, and you're adding like pressing motions in your training, that doesn't make any sense. So you should highly unbalance yourself in training, which is 90% of pulling and 10% of pushing. But it's not just pulling and pushing. Do it like it's described in the book. Practice shoulder blades and engaging the big muscles. It's not just doing pull-ups and push-ups. It's the way you do it. And I hope I did a decent job of explaining it in the book. Okay. That's balance. We have to put stress in there as well because my observation is, and probably my first 37, 38 years of my life, I've been living the lie of a balanced life, which means, okay, I have to make sure I have enough leisure time and rest time after training. And I think this is the most sold lie ever out there. I think we as human beings thrive on stress, the most stress that is out there. And you have to learn how to deal with it because what happens is if you narrow yourself down, if you calm yourself down all the time, every single input of stress is gonna create a massive reaction in your system. So practical example. Probably a couple of thousand years ago, people had a slight spike in heart rate when they saw a bear somewhere, right? The same the same level of heart rate elevation happens nowadays if you can't find your phone. I'm joking, I'm exaggerating, but that's reality. So we have to train ourselves towards um, freaking less out rather than avoiding stress at all costs. Um, for me, this is generally true with work, with family, with training, basically with everything. So learn how to deal with more stress. And this is stressful per se, yeah, but that's also learning a skill. Whether that's, I don't know, you having kids, they're running around and it's chaotic, and you're a super A type and everything needs to be planned, like those times are over. Once kids enter your life, chaos is there. And that's a good thing to learn. Same with initiating or starting to train. Like training is gonna bring chaos in your life, and the better you get it, the more you can structure it, the more you can deal with it, and the bigger you as a stress absorber will become. And the third part is it's called allostasis in Latin. It's just you have to give your body a chance to adapt, and it's not gonna adapt through thinking about how to solve problems or thinking about starting a project or thinking about changing your job or thinking about stuff. You have to take action. You have to get scared. Just make sure you're not dying, whatever you're starting, whether that's training, family, or a new job. But this is a threshold where we human beings thrive. If you're listening to this, just think about stuff that gave you like a really good feeling outside of eating ice cream and going on holidays, right? Like challenging hard tasks. What was the feeling before you did it? Like in switching your job or I don't know, tackling the deadlift PR, and then think about once you had it. And the having it feeling is the best feeling in the world, and then you're looking for another hard challenge attack. So those are three concepts, super simple in training. Prioritize pulling in your training the way we teach it. Prioritize, nevertheless, called grow or die. You're either gonna grow or you're gonna die. And give your body a chance to adapt to stuff and just simply get better at it. That was a long ass answer.
But what I was thinking of when you mentioned like the example of the caveman who saw the bear and who had a slight spike in his heart rate. Would you agree though that kind of like nowadays brings kind of different challenges than back then? Of course, back then things were on a kind of like more neutral standpoint. Of course, the challenges were more significant, but nevertheless, I would say that the level of stress nowadays can be in kind of like more smaller stuff, but still, nevertheless, it causes people to feel like overly stressed. So there are not like these
Yes,
huge,
because
but it's like a lot of
okay, so
teeny tiny things.
we are having the same reactions as our ancestors looking at a bear. Just the dangers are in most cases not, or there's not the same consequence in most cases. Yet we still have the same
Mhm.
hormonal reactions to stuff that's happening. I mean, just look at road rage. Look at road rage, for example, right? If somebody's cutting you or whatever's happening on the streets and while sitting in a car, like people are losing their shit. This is not just, oh, that was a bad accident. No, this is almost like you're either hunting the bear or you're being hunted by a bear. So the reactions are the same. There's just, in my opinion, applied to different circumstances nowadays. And let's be honest, for 90%, 95% of people, there's no imminent actual threat to their own life on a daily basis, right? Shit happens and you get run over by cars. That's absolutely true. But at the end of the day, 95% of people have shelter, food, and water.
Mm.
That's it. And that's literally all we need to survive. So that means we are creating those catastrophic scenarios. Not we, but like our system is creating those catastrophic scenarios that could happen eventually on auto mode. For me personally, the only thing that I found to deal with it is learning how to deal with stress through whatever you want to choose. Hard projects in your work,
Mm.
hard training, developing skills, becoming a pilot, whatever the fuck it is. It doesn't really matter. But this is the only way to calm down those voices that are gonna project catastrophic events, no matter what you do. Even if you're okay, let's say you're on holiday, you're in a hotel, it's super secure, and there's still thoughts coming up of, oh my God, I'm gonna die because I don't know, the
Mm.
buffet ran out of food, or there's a dog over there, or I saw it was it a shark in the ocean, or was it actually like I don't know, goldfish that just escaped from an aquarium? So we're creating those scenarios and you cannot avoid those thought patterns. The only thing that I think you could do is train yourself to tackle actively stress through outlets that you want to choose. And those are that are not fun, but that are enticing to you, right? Doesn't need to be training, doesn't need to be work, could be whatever, gardening, whatever challenges you. And once you master it, or once you tackle it, or once you get better at the skill, it's gonna calm yourself down. And that's what drugs do, alcohol, all the kind of stuff. So there's different outlets,
Mm.
but I'm more on the, well, let's achieve something side than doing drugs and alcohol. But you do you.
Kids don't take drugs. Just say no. Well, that's what
I
that's
won't go into it because then we have to edit it. Then we have to edit it out.
that's all we have for today, question-wise.
Sweet guys, bring on the questions. I'm literally working on publishing the book as we speak on holidays because I have to get that thingy out there. Um, it's gonna soon. Soon. Take care.